Hi, welcome to Profit Talks. My name is Alison Proffit, and today we are joined by Cindy Skalicky of On Point Communications. Hi, Cindy. How are you today?
Hi, Allison. I'm doing great. How are you?
I am great. So, what those of you that are watching don't know is that before we decided to start this call, Cindy and I had a little dance party. It was so much fun. We cranked up some Dixie Chicks, did a little dance party. That part's not making it onto this recording, but what a great way to boost our energy. What did you think about that, Cindy?
Well, I think it's been a lot of fun to get to talk to you about our music preferences and that we both enjoy singing, and that we've shared some stories in the recent past about songs we love, and we landed on the Dixie Chicks. So, what better song to sing to than Long Time Gone?
That's right, because it feels kind of like it's been a long time gone since we've been in our regular normal.
Yes, that's a great segue.
So, Cindy, before we kind of hop into a little bit more about just the meat of our conversation, can you share a little bit more about yourself and your business and
Sure.
your journey to getting to On Point Communication?
Sure, I'd love to. I started On Point Communications almost 5 years ago. And what I do now is I'm a consulting and messaging boutique firm, and I do public speaking coaching and brand consulting. Those are kind of the two sandboxes that I play in. I do more of the work in the public speaking box and then the brand consulting box. But what that means is when I'm looking for ways to help my clients, they're usually doing some kind of pitch or presentation to a group of people that they want to persuade. And so a lot of my work is with founders who are pitching investors or individuals looking to sharpen their presentation skills through a sales pitch, keynote addresses. I help people with TEDx stories. I do a lot with storytelling. And I just absolutely love my work, and I see it in kind of two ways, or there's a process, right? First, you have to tie up the content and make sure it's really tight and well organized and logical. And then once the content, whether that's a script or a slide deck, once that's really tight, then I get to come in and work with the person on how they deliver the content, help them with how to remember the content and avoid nervousness through, memorization, and how to really nail it from the stage. So that's what I do at On Point. Basically, On Point is the culmination of a lot of other career stepping stones that I had. So I have spent time at a Big Five ad agency in Chicago called BBDO Chicago. I spent time at a global PR firm in DC, where we worked a lot with health care clients, like whether it was for-profit or nonprofit. So that's where I got really good at disseminating messages quickly. And I learned a lot about scientific messaging there. And finally, I have a degree, 2 degrees in persuasive theory. So rhetorical theory is my kind of specialization. And that's the science of persuasion. What does it mean to be persuaded? What is a speaker doing when they are persuading? What are they leaning into? What tools are they picking out of their toolbox to try to get you and I think a certain way, believe a certain way, or buy something?
Yeah. So, Cindy, I remember when we first met and we were talking. We met at Fort Collins Startup Week this past February. Gosh, that feels like a lifetime ago.
Right.
And I just remember the way that you lit up when you were talking about the work that you do, because we were watching the finals at the pitch competition, and that's your jam. It's your jam to
Mm-hmm.
help people. I know your phrase is helping you nail it, getting that I nailed it feeling. And I just remember seeing you light up, and I resonated with that so much because I feel the same way when, because we do very similar work, but in
Yeah.
slightly different capacities. So when I help one of my clients through understanding what do they say in their sales conversations and unpacking the mindset junk that's in their way of feeling confident going into those conversations. And then when they call me and they say, I got the sale, I get that
Mhm.
same feeling like, yes, like so exciting. And one of my clients, two of my clients were in that pitch competition. And I
Mhm.
remember that same feeling. Like I felt like a proud mama in the
Mhm.
back of the room. I didn't
Yes,
really help them with their pitch, but
right.
I just remember feeling like they did it. Like it was so awesome. And they got second and third place. And so, but
Yeah.
I remember how you lit up about like what it is that you do. And so I'm just really excited that we get to be here and share this space together
Thank
and
you.
maybe collaborate at some point in some different projects.
Yep.
So, you were talking about kind of getting the story. And I know the other day you were talking about this cool program that you're doing with helping people write their passion piece. Can you tell
Yes.
us a little bit more about that?
Oh gosh, I didn't know you were going to talk to me about that, but yes,
I didn't know
yes,
either. That's the thing.
me
I'm not a
neither. It
planner.
just came out. Okay, so let's see. So a passion piece is a one-page document that anyone can write that helps whoever's reading it really get at the heart of what they're passionate about, what they're gifted at doing. Okay, so let me kind of backtrack and tell you a brief portion of the story about how this came to be.
Okay, I'd
It
love that.
actually came out of a relationship that I had with my uncle, and who since passed away. He passed away in July of last year,
Mm.
and when we went to the memorial service, there was this large poster that my cousins had printed out of my uncle riding a motorcycle, which was one of his major passions. And the left side of that was all about why he loved riding it and how it made him feel. And every sentence in his passion piece, is what I call it, starts with I love. I love the feel of the road underneath me. I love the feeling of the snug helmet against my face when it's cold outside. I love the smells. I love that. I think my favorite sentence is, I love that motorcycling takes 100% of my concentration, 100% of the time. So anyway, by the time you read the whole thing, which doesn't take very long, you have a total snapshot of who my uncle was when he was riding that motorcycle and how it made him feel.
Mm.
And what really attracted me to the whole concept is exactly that, the emotional connection that was possible after reading that isn't possible when you just talk to someone about, hey, what do you do, Allison? What do you do? Well, I'm a sales coach and I do this, and you're telling me things that you do, but
Right.
I'm not seeing I'm not understanding the light all the way
Right.
that you emit, and you say that I light up when I talk about public speaking. Well, it's because and I do, and I hear that a lot, which I'm glad about, I guess, right? But what I wrote in my passion piece explains that light,
Right.
helps people feel it and see why it's there and what ignites it. So for my passion piece, it was me walking through a moment in time with a client that I coached from the beginning to the end of the process, and how I feel when I'm with them, and what I see in their faces when they understand why certain tips are going to really help catapult their credibility and really make their pitch shine. So I came up with this idea to do a webinar and to teach people how to do that, because storytelling is always linked to emotion. Storytelling has to pull out feelings. Storytelling gets at the heart of a person, and it includes vulnerability. And so this passion piece that I'm trying to teach people how to do more of, it gets at all those things at one time. Plus, it's very consumable as far as reading it. I've started to share it with people on LinkedIn, or, hey, here's a little bit about me, just to get to know each other better. And I think it's extremely powerful for a lot of people to just try to think about writing that piece for themselves.
Yeah, so you shared a little snapshot of your webinar overview the other day on a meeting that I was at, and I remember you had us close our eyes when you were reading your uncle's story or passion piece, and I actually have a motorcycle license. Fun fact.
Okay.
I had a motorcycle, so I went to motorcycle riding classes back in Pennsylvania. And anyways, when you were reading that, it transported me into like what I felt like when I was even riding my own motorcycle. So it was really cool, like how you were not only envisioning his experience, but you felt like you were there with him.
Yeah.
And it's like it evoked in me my own memories of what that felt like for me. So it's really cool. I love that so much. And you talked about vulnerability, and that word really came to my mind as you were speaking, and the importance of really getting that, like conveying you at your authentic core.
Right.
And it sounds like it could be a really powerful tool, whether you are in leadership or you're a business owner and you're trying to build that know, like, and trust factor with your audience.
Yep.
It's like, this is a way that you can do it in it's an unconventional, non-threatening, non-salesy way to show your authenticity. I just love it so much. So I think it's a really cool thing, and we'll be sure to share some links in the comments below, or the show description about that webinar if you're open to that. I know we didn't talk about that beforehand, but
no, I would love to share it. That's the whole idea, is to get the ideas out there for people to grab hold of.
Yeah, I think it's so great, because I think authenticity I mean, that's what I teach, authenticity in sales, but that authenticity is so important. And I remember when I worked in human resources for a very long time, and I felt like I kind of had to shield some of my authenticity. I kind of walked around with a mask on, carrying that mask for 15 years in that career, not feeling like I could truly share all the things about myself, right? Like, where is it okay to just be a silly, sassy HR person that loves to sing and dance?
Yeah, exactly. Well, you bring up a point that I share a lot with speakers I'm coaching who are going to get on a stage or have, even more anxiety than just kind of table to table conversation. I tell my speakers and anybody that when you're standing on a stage, there are 3 things you should do when you first start to speak that will diffuse the room. Because when you get on a stage and you have an audience in the background, or you have an audience that you're speaking to, there's like an invisible veil in between the speaker and the audience. There's this dividing line, this barrier. It's invisible, but everybody knows that it's there. And if the speaker can be the one to break it, then it's diffusing the whole environment for the success of the talk. And there's 3 things a speaker can do to break that veil, and they all happen in 10 seconds of the talk. So I'll just tell you what those are. You can do with it what you will. But the first thing to do when a speaker is introduced is to walk forward at least 3 or 4 steps toward the audience, because you're coming at them, you're coming toward them, you're coming to them. And that's where you break that physical barrier that might exist of just a lot of space. So you walk toward the audience and you might gesture a little bit. The next thing to do, or kind of do these all at the same time, but smiling is really important. Assuming that the situation calls for a happy demeanor, you can just smile. I usually suggest that people use the word excited if this is a casual thing that's not super scripted. For example, a TED Talk would be super scripted and you might not do that off the cuff. So walking forward 4 or 5 steps, smiling and making eye contact with a couple of people in the audience in the front rows to get at the people and the hearts of the people that are there. Those are 3 really quick and important ways to begin the relationship part of your speaking with your audience. Because if you don't do that, and I'm sure you've seen this where people don't do those things and they stand too close to their screen that's showing their slides, or they stand way back by the podium, or they just have all this space that's in between them and the audience. And then it's an us versus you kind of a mentality. And whatever you can do non-verbally or physically to break that is going to be to your advantage.
Yeah, that's so amazing. Thank you for sharing those tips. I jotted them down, so I'll be sure to put that in the show notes. I think that's like the formal language that they get. I don't know. We're new here at Profit Talks. We're not formal. We dropped all that pomp and circumstance when we left the corporate world.
That's right. That's right.
But we can still be authentic and professional, and our natural self. So,
right.
This is awesome. Where can people find you, Cindy?
Oh, well, you can find me at LinkedIn under Cindy Skalicky, or my company page is On Point Communications. So you can follow both of those. And I post valuable tips on a daily basis, whether it's a video that's a short clip. Sometimes I have even a mini tutorial that I will share that's 5 or 6 minutes on specific things to do with slides, for example. And you can connect with me there. I have a Facebook page, On Point Communications. And then, of course, you can email me at info@onpoint-communications.com.
Perfect.
And I have Twitter as well, which is Cindy Skalicky.
You are just all up in all the socials. I love it. Cindy, this has been really great. I would love, in closing, for you to share how you want to impact the world through your business.
How do I want to impact the world through my business? I want people to shed the fears of public speaking that so many people have. I mean, as much as I love the branding work that I do, that doesn't carry fear as much as public speaking does. And I'd love to move, public speaking fears kind of out of the number one slot of things that people are afraid of. I'm not sure I could do that all by myself, but I want people to understand that a little bit of fear and trepidation about public speaking is totally normal. And I want them to want to get better and see the value in doing so. I think people think I'm either a good public speaker or I'm not. I'm either a good salesperson or I'm not. I'm either a good writer or I'm not. And I do not believe that. I believe you can learn skills, and public speaking is the same thing. You can learn skills to make you better. Yes, some people are a little bit more gifted than others, as with anything. But I love showing people the specific things they can do that will make them better. So I'm out to make the world a better public speaking stage.
Because all the world is our stage.
Yeah, all the world is a stage, right?
That's beautiful. Well, we are here wrapping up with Cindy Skalicky from On Point Communications here on Proffit Talks. And Cindy, I just want to say thank you so much for being here with us today. In the early stages of our show here.
Yeah,
and
my pleasure.
Yeah, and you can find Proffit Coach at Proffit Coach on Facebook. I'm also on LinkedIn, and my website is profitcoach.com, and that's profit spelled like making money, but with 2 F's, because extra is better.
Right.
And we look forward to connecting you. Please follow us, and we'll be releasing new episodes of Proffit Talks on a weekly basis. Thank you again so much, Cindy, and we'll see everybody on the next episode. Take care.
Right. Bye.